Hey, it's Rupaul's Drag Race UK. Season 1, Episode 1, Meet the Queens. So if you are in the US and you're planning on watching this episode on Logo, I don't think it airs for another 8 days. I got the World of Wonder app, watched it on my phone. It's Thursday I watched it at 3 p.m. I think it had actually been out a little bit longer than that. I think it must show up after it premieres in the UK. So I'm just going to tell you right now, this is a spoiler alert. I know who goes home the first episode. I know who wins the first episode. So if you watch and then you're like, I didn't know, blah, 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 that is totally on you. So it's a Season 1, Episode 1, Meet the Queens, an hour and 2 minutes. So it's a little bit longer than the US version. There is no Untucked. Okay, so if you want to get it, there's a World of Wonder app. It is $3.99 a month, but you can get a 1-month trial. So probably about $8 or so to watch the full season, because there are 10 queens, assuming there's not something crazy like 5 go home and then 5 come back and then 5 go home and then 5 come back. It's probably an 8-ish episodes. I don't know. There's probably someone in the UK can probably tell me. There's probably a standard, like we always do 8 episodes or 9 or 11 or whatever. So I will say that there's a couple differences. I think it's not quite as diverse ethnically as what we see in America, where I think we're used to seeing, and there's not as much size variations. There are some kind of bigger queens, but I didn't see, and this is probably, first of all, the UK is smaller. They all seem wonderful. They look really British. I had a really hard time telling them apart. There's only a few that really stick out based on their appearances out of drag. So I'm just doing the best I can. So Bag of Chips, 29, sort of brassy and infamous, seems to be kind of like the big, like, da kind of queen. We have Blue Hydrangea, 23, Irish, sort of an artsy Instagram, no waist, no boobs, kind of inspired by cosplay and makeup. So one of the things I heard about the UK version of drag is that it tends to be more performance-based than look-based. That, if that's true, it's not necessarily... We have a very typical drag race. It's a very typical reality show mix, which means you don't have 10 contestants. And thank goodness it's only 10, because I can't deal with when they have 14, 15, 16, 18, remembering all their names. You can hear my child. Maybe you can't, but I can hear my child in the background. He wants to turn on all of our faucets and then just let them run all day. And we're trying to teach him no. So I apologize if you can hear that. But anyway, what I was going to say was, there seems to be a pretty good mix. They have a couple that are, and I'll get to all of them, veteran performers just starting, really young, more experienced, look queens that it's all about the makeup, all about the performance. So it's a very typical mix. It wouldn't be an interesting show if they were all identical. Okay, so anyway, we have Davina DeCampo, 35, which is, I believe, just barely the oldest. There's actually a couple of 34s. We'll get to them. Yorkshire, larger than life. They said that the typical, the more old school queen is one that they do versus how they look or how they be, and this is a little bit of both. And apparently DVC, as the necklace says, has been on TV a lot. They fast forwarded through all the credits. So I don't know what these credits were, but apparently they have a lot of TV credits. Crystal, 34, London, sort of glamour. Oh, it was originally from Canada, a little bit more punk, a little bit more gender fluid. Some Teen Wong, 30, is in fact of some Eastern, some sort of Asian heritage, didn't say what kind. A little bit of a curvier girl. It's got a real deep Katharine Hepburn voice. And the name is purposely meant to kind of evoke, I mean, every time you hear Ru say something, say the name, always very clear that it is some Teen Wong. It's never like slurred together into one word that might sound like you're making fun of someone's accent. So, some Teen Wong, 30. Cheryl Hole, 25. Essex, party girl, dancer. I don't know a lot about Essex. I just know that they have a show that's sort of, I think, their equivalent of like a Jersey Shore type show, Essex. Gothy Kendall, 21. Thought we were going to be the youngest, wasn't. Thinks that they can be intimidating to other people. Not a great start. Vinegar Strokes 34 is a person of color. Didn't say what that means. London actor. They gave some acronym, I don't remember what it was, but basically they're an actor who does drag rather than drag who acts. Has been in a show with Michelle Visage. And then Scaredy Cat, 19, the youngest, very artsy, very not gay, has a girlfriend, has never performed drag. So for me, I guess maybe a very interesting look. There's no doubt, and there certainly is with YouTube and Instagram, you certainly can get very experienced at makeup and get a lot of feedback without actually performing. Now, you see that in comedy as well. You see comedians who only do stuff on the internet. They don't perform in front of an audience. Is it the same? Can you just transfer those skills over? I don't know. I don't necessarily know. Some days I feel like, no, you need to have that fear of God in you. It's easy to talk to a camera. I'm doing it right now. I'll tell you what, I got on stage to do stand-up, and it was terrifying. So, is it the same? I don't want to discredit it. So, we'll find out. 19, very young, very high concept, only been doing it 11 months. So, we got the youngest, the least performing, never on a stage. So it'll be interesting when we get into more of the performance-based challenges. This was just a runway challenge. And then the Vivian, 26, Glamour Polish, was awarded by RuPaul as the UK ambassador. So this was a couple years ago, they did a little show in a bar, was named the Drag Race ambassador for the UK. Does that transfer over? We'll see. Okay, so they have a rich past and a bright future. Instead of having a pit crew, they have a Brit crew. And they're like little mini challenges that they use one of those cones that you get at the vet for your dog, and it's green screened, so they can take a picture of them without their head, and they kind of put in a bloody stomp and stuff. And then they can get into this box and put green around their neck, and they can have their head, and then they animate the head saying something witty. And people kind of went everything from, like, Gothy Kendall was like super low energy. I really am going to need them to put everyone's name every time they appear on the screen, because there's a lot I can't tell you because I don't know. So, so they have to make 2 looks. They have to do 2 looks. It sounds like they all brought something. Like, oh, I'm going to give you a twist. I know that they're kind of told in general what kind of looks to bring, but they have some. So they have to make one that's inspired by the queen and one that's inspired by their hometown. Why are you the queen of your hometown? And I'll tell you, I know that it was done for the BBC, but it really helped me because I don't know what these stereotypes are. I don't know what an Essex girl is. I could guess when they describe it, but I don't know what a London drag is like. Now, to be fair, before Drag Race, a lot of people didn't know what New York drag was versus LA versus the South. So they need more name tags. Scarlett's never even been to a drag show, not even attended one. As a viewer, I hope this is like the biggest faceplant in the most dramatic fashion ever as a viewer. So runway, oh, it is nice. So they do the runway, they do it to CoverGirl. So when you hear that doot 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 doot, sorry, that's terrible. It's the same doot doot. Doot, doot, doot. And then RuPaul comes out in a full like green screen dress that covers her fingernails and all the way down. Very interesting. Alan Carr, I know from watching YouTube videos about British shows. He's very funny. He's very likable. We have RuPaul. We have Michelle Visage. And we have a guest judge, Andrew Garfield. So we have, so I don't know if I'm going to go through I might as well go through every look. Crystal, has pearl hair, which means the actual wig was done from pearls, this is to represent their city first. And then a teal ball gown, I think it's a good look. I think it's, nice and high concept. Cheryl Holt has a very Paris Hilton look. I love that because now I know what an Essex girl is. I know this girl. I'm from the U.S. I know this, tight little dress, big hair, bad sun, spray tan. It was like on the dress and it was like rubbed off in spots, and so it was very deliberately bad. I'm like, oh, I know who this is. Even if we don't have has like the lifted the skirt, had the vajazzle underwear on. I get it. Something Wrong had these huge bull horns and a nose ring. I think she said Birmingham. Very high concept look. Okay, it made sense to them. I don't necessarily know what this town is, but at least it was like, that is not a look I'm going to forget, which is what I go for. Blue did this ironwork thing. I didn't think it was good. Had no boobs, no waist. Now I know there's a lot of queens that don't do big boobs, but I kind of feel like there, at some point you lose the illusion. I think it's something I'll be bring up. Baga did an Amy Winehouse look. It was even kind of that walk of shame look. Vivian. Oh, did the guy from Dead or Alive, or I'm sorry, the lead singer from Dead or Alive, who is now I probably should have looked this up. I believe is transgender female. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up. Anyway, it was a look that they all instantly recognized. I was like, why do they have no eyebrows? And I was like, oh, and then they mentioned somewhere, I didn't write it down, but now it's like ringing a bell. Vinegar, I wasn't crazy about it. I'm not crazy about the way Vinegar's makeup looks. So my guess, has a darker skin tone. My guess is that when you do stage makeup, it's very, very dark. Stage makeup, and that's my experience with theater, and I'm guessing that this is kind of one of those things where if they saw what they looked on camera, if Vinegar saw the way she looked on camera, she would have adjusted that. I'm interested. I was kind of a little, they didn't address it, so I'm a little curious, but it's driving me crazy, and I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know. Gothy had this tiger makeup. I don't know what that means. Scaredy Cat, sort of a nymph forest, hippie look. Davina had hair. Super high concept. Oh, super high concept hair. So it was like curls, but was maybe made from paper. I like it. I like it. I like that a lot. So then they go with the queen looks. They're all kind of different. I'm gonna kind of skip over these because the only one with Scaredy Cat did a baby queen with like a super harsh highlight here, and I was like, that's the opposite of what you do to babies. But there you go. So I'm going to talk about Crystal right now. Did a military look. I really liked it. It was like tight, kind of almost like bullfighter look. But Crystal was safe. Blue was also safe. Did a coin look. Had a nice, with a nice big dress, which I kind of appreciated. So what they did is they did a cardboard coin because the queen is on the coin. So it kind of did like a metallic-y makeup. So when they turned, it was a coin, and I like that, but what I also liked is they still had a big dress. Scaredy did, like I said, baby queen, great idea, let's go for something a little different, you know, well, someone else could have done it, but it had a real tough contour, and I was a little confused by that choice. And then Davina was safe. Star of the Gator, oh, it was safe. That's fine. Okay, so Cheryl was in the bottom. Cheryl had a great, her queen look was just pink, and there was some, you know, on the white was just some pearls. It was kind of weird to me because they were like, you didn't have a purse, but a lot of them didn't have a purse. But I think it was just that it was all together so underwhelming. Something Wrong did a similar idea to the coin, did a postage stamp. What I didn't like was that it was super interesting postage stamp on the back. It said, lick me. She kind of walked across the stage like this, just like the postage stamp. I thought that was already good. I wish they had kind of nailed her because from here down was just sort of a white sheath dress. And I felt like they could have been like, that was an opportunity, to do something interesting. Something. We don't know. Just anything interesting. Oh, I remember Davina had Star of the Garter and had garter underneath. So I do like that. Anyway, back, Something Wrong. Creative, fun. They liked it. Baga. I found Baga really interesting when they talked. So when they interacted with Baga, I was like, oh, here's a personality. Here's a little give and take. And Baga was on top. Vivian. Oh, they nailed her for having flats, but got away with it because the flats that she had for her first look, which was the Dead or Alive look, which I believe is the You Spin Me Right Round, was known for wearing those flats. But they're kind of like, you can't keep doing flats. So but had the queen hunting. So it had like the wellies, which are flat, but they kind of let it slide because the rest of the look was so good. Oh, the face was so good. The face, it really looked like, my note says, really looks like the queen. And Baga as well was really good. I'm like, they could make money being impressionists of the queen. I thought they were very good. Vinegar was in the bottom. The material was like, you know how polyester, like, you know when you go to like a store and you buy an outfit and you like undo it and there's still lines in it and it kind of doesn't sit in your body like clothing sits, it kind of sits out. That's what Vinegar's outfit was like. Kind of surprised it didn't say anything about the makeup, but you know, I'm no makeup expert, as you can tell, so I shouldn't talk. And then Gothy, they really knocked. That was the little tiger outfit. Did kind of a 50s version. The top was the same color as Gothy's skin, so it did not read good on camera. It was an interesting skirt, but it wasn't. I don't know. It just didn't look as good as it could, and Gothy seemed very like scared on the stage, and in the, you know, they really got a problem with when they came down the tiger outfit. It was like walk, 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 walk. Like it was that level of energy. So anyway, Bag is safe, Something is safe, and then Vivian wins. Super happy with it. Vinegar, Gothy, who was, one of them was safe. I don't know, I have my notes. Oh, Cheryl was safe, Vinegar and Gothy lip sync. So the exact same like walk, walk, walk was what the lip sync. I think Gothy was missing a lot of words. It was very much, it was lots of like looking down and lots of like that level of energy. Like I'm going to do stuff and I'm really doing stuff, but I'm so scared. The rest of my body is disengaging. Where Vinegar was very much like boom, 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 you know, like that very like, here I am, power, energy. And Gothy was very much like, I'm going to do stuff, but I'm scared and I forgot half the words. So I felt so confident that Gothy was going home that I wrote Gothy's going home. And that's not my brilliance. That's not like, oh, I'm so in touch. It was just that clear that there was this level of Gothy wasn't really ready for this energy. So anyway, that was a really long intro. I don't know if anyone's going to watch it. I think they were all wonderful. So I kind of had some criticisms, but like I always said, criticism isn't necessarily, doesn't mean you're bad. They're still, this is the first ever season. They've had 11 years? 9 years? 8 years? I don't know. I don't know when the show started. So I thought they were all great. Enjoyed them all. Okay, see you next week.